What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we will be fighting the patriarchy because you know how we are here on the channel. We just gotta fight it. We just gotta fight it. Men are always messing something up, man. We're always doing something wrong. We're always tearing something up. We're always ruining society, even when we're not doing anything wrong, or at least we think we're not doing anything wrong. We're doing something wrong. Men could be breathing and you're doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, man. But today we're gonna be taking a look at air conditioning. You know, the thing that most of us, I would say, has been a tremendous benefit here in the summer months. We're starting to push into that hot zone of summer. It's July now here in the United States. It's getting pretty hot. It's Ohio. It's starting to reach the 90s in the temperatures. The temperatures will stay in the 90s for probably another 2 to 3 months, all the way up until, about early to mid-October, I'd say. Air conditioning is going to be a pretty good part of my life. I'm gonna love having air conditioning in my life, but hey, we got people who will not apparently love air conditioning in their lives because apparently air conditioning is unhealthy, bad, miserable, and sexist. I can't explain how many times I've gotten sick over the summer because of overzealous AC in offices. Hashtag ban AC. I would love to know how air conditioning is unhealthy. Then again, you also said you can't explain how many times you've gotten sick over the summer because of overzealous AC in offices. You can't explain how many times you've gotten sick over the summer because of this, because you've never gotten sick over the summer because of AC in offices. AC has never been the root cause of you getting sick. Temperature has never been the root cause of you getting sick. The fact that people still believe that temperature is the cause of them getting an illness still is a mind-boggling misconception. I still am shocked that in an era where you can literally learn pretty much anything at the push of a button, people still don't understand that. Now, the air conditioning in the office might be the transmitter of this virus or whatever you've gotten, but it is not the root cause. Just because it is, 67 degrees or whatever in your office that's so cold, that doesn't mean that that's why you've gotten sick. But then again, you also claimed that an inanimate object, that its sole purpose is to literally cool the inside of a building, you called it sexist, so I wouldn't necessarily claim you're the most intelligent person on planet Earth anyway, so not sure how it's unhealthy. Then again, you also proved you have no understanding of health in the first place. It's bad. Don't necessarily know how air conditioning is bad. I mean, I would say it's pretty good. Let me know if you think air conditioning is bad, especially if you live in, say, Texas, California, Florida, where it's basically a wildfire in temperatures pretty much every single day during the summer. I would love to see what you have to say. It's miserable. Yeah, it's really miserable being comfortable all the time. It's almost like you can actually set the thermostat and you can change the temperature if you don't like, how cold it is. And if you don't like how cold the office is, you can, talk to the management and be an adult and be like, hey, do you think maybe you could turn it up a little bit so we don't freeze in here a little bit? I know that's kind of insane, but see, these people, they want to be oppressed, but they also want to be independent at the same time. It's insane. So they're strong, independent people, and they don't need anybody to speak on their behalf, and they can do anything that they want, and they got themselves locked down, but at the same time, they're too afraid to speak to their boss about maybe turning up the air conditioning just a couple degrees, and instead will, apparently go on a public tirade about how all air conditioning needs to be publicly banned. That's how oppressed women apparently are by air conditioning, which, women also reap all of the benefit of air conditioning in the first place, except apparently this woman, because she doesn't understand basic science and how viruses and bacteria are transmitted. So her first major question is in the title, and it is, do Americans need air conditioning? Not, do people need air conditioning? Just specifically, do Americans need air conditioning? Let's see here. Nearly 90% of Americans' households now have some form of air conditioning, more than any other country in the world except Japan. Though, that will change as global warming alters more temperate zones and swelling populations and rising incomes in hot zones, meaning the folks there will clamor for AC too. On an overheated planet, air conditioning becomes more and more desirable, solving in the short term the problem it helped create. So, you quite literally, within, let's see here. This isn't the first paragraph. This is the third and fourth paragraph here. Within the third and fourth paragraph, you have already answered your question. Yes, Americans do need air conditioning because the planet is overheated, the temperatures are rising, the populations are swelling, creating even more global warming. As temperatures keep rising, People are going to clamor for more air conditioning. Therefore, people need air conditioning. There, you answered your question. So you think, yeah, there you got it right there. Of course not. No, because she hasn't even gotten into how it's sexist, bad, miserable, or gets her sick, right? So we're going to go ahead and figure out how sexist it really gets, okay? The New York Times, one of the biggest publications in the United States, a news outlet and organization, is absolutely horrible when it comes to this, right? They should be ashamed of themselves, okay? They are named by name in this article. Many offices, including those of the New York Times, set their thermostats to 74 to 76 degrees, which you would think would feel balmy. Imagine a thermostat set to that temperature during winter. Yet the other day, my colleagues, probably about 20% of them, we're shivering in sweatshirts and sweaters, okay? Yeah, I don't know what to tell them. So, 1 out of every 5 employees had a problem, and what we're supposed to do is when a minority, a very small minority, may I add, not like 45% of all these employees have a problem, we're supposed to completely adhere to their problem instead of, doing what, 80% of the employees figure are fine, right? And the thing is that they adapted, right? They got sweatshirts and sweaters and, they tried to adapt at least. I don't know why they would be shivering in a sweatshirt and sweater when the thermostat is set to 74 degrees. That's kind of ridiculous. I figure something else might be at hand that might be just a little bit more than the temperature. I think maybe there's a health problem or something going on. If the internal temperature of a room is 74 to 76 degrees, you're wearing a sweatshirt or a sweater and you're shivering, maybe something else is going on there. But, 20% is obviously what you should be catering to, right? They own the vocal minority, so they should be the ones that you completely adhere to. The Times has a nearly even gender split. 51% of its employees are female, so they're obviously very sexist, right? Where's the gender equality there? Why isn't it 50-50? Why isn't it 50-50 male? But what of 100% female operations? How do they handle their thermostats? At all 8 locations of the wing, their co-working space designed for women, the seating has been fabricated to accommodate 5'4" women, which is the average female height, in soft fabrics like velvet, anticipating users with bare legs. In the summer months, these temperatures are similarly considered. The thermostats are set to 72 to 74 degrees, a number gleaned for reading studies that suggested men were happier at 70 degrees and women at temperatures that are 2.5 degrees higher. If people are still chilly, there are baskets of knitted cotton blankets placed strategically throughout the club. On a recent visit, the place looked like a college dorm during exam week, with some members sitting cross-legged in armchairs, laptops open, their laps swaddled in blankets. So apparently, these poor women had to make the just awful, stand against patriarchy of having to just put some blankets on that were provided to them free of charge. You do realize this is why people don't take feminism seriously at all, right? We've gotten to, this is my point right here, okay? Feminism back in the early 1900s fought for things like women to have the right to vote in elections, okay? But just think about this on a grand scale. These people are complaining that women in an office that actually women are dominating the office in terms of how many women work there. They have a 51% majority, are apparently being discriminated against by men because apparently air conditioning is sexist because it's cold in their office and they have to wear blankets that are provided to them free of charge in the office, which sounds like a pretty awesome working environment to me, which sounds like a pretty generous working environment to me, in an air-conditioned office, might I add. That's what feminism is actually complaining about at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous, man. This is insane to me. All I gotta say is if you don't like these jobs, and you're so sick of these air-conditioned jobs where women dominate the field, and it's so sexist because there's so much air conditioning, and you poor women are getting freezed out of these jobs where you're provided blankets free of charge by these employers and stuff, and they literally give you chairs that are actually fitted to your average size and that are, designed in nice material, comfortable material for your size and for the temperature for you and where you're in the majority, why don't you go dig ditches out in the hot summer sun with all the men? Why don't you go out there and build the roads and go get a construction job where men are in the majority of construction jobs and stuff like that? Why don't you go take one of those jobs where there isn't any air conditioning and tell me how much you hate that air conditioning, how sexist it is then? Why don't you go join the army and go on the front lines real quick, you know, when you're wearing 50 pounds of gear over in Afghanistan getting shot at, you know? Tell me how much you miss your air conditioning then, you know, how horrible it was. It's such a first world problem that it's absolutely insane, and it's ridiculous that this is even a complaint to these people. I get, you know, opening windows if the temperature's low enough and stuff and it's not completely humid and it's not gonna kill everybody in the house and stuff, but there's people with legitimate illnesses, you know, people with allergies who can't just open a window because next thing you know, they're not going to be able to breathe. There's people with temperature sensitivities. There's people with actual problems who have to have air conditioning. People with, you know, all kinds of different problems that this woman just doesn't take into consideration because apparently air conditioning is sexist. But hey, just like most of these people that are just like this woman, as long as their problems are being catered to, as long as these 1% of this vocal minority is being catered to, they're fine because their opinion is the only one that matters. And what's funny is most women, I would say, absolutely adore air conditioning, especially, I would say, I don't think there's many jobs that women do where they would just hate air conditioning, you know? I can't think of many jobs that a woman would do where they're just like, man, I really wish we didn't have air conditioning right now. Apparently writing articles like this one is apparently one of them, but whatever, man. It's insane. It's crazy. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. Make sure to stay out of the air conditioning. It is sexist. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, sitting in that sexist air conditioning, and signing out.